Hello everybody and welcome back. So I want to show you guys what we're doing this week, which of course is another window, but let me show you the one that I actually got complete this week as well. So let's check that out first. So as you can see, walking up to the window, sorry it's super duper backlit, it wants to focus to the outside, but just want to show you guys that it in fact does open and close. So that's pretty nice. I know a few of you guys were asking about the weather strips. This is what I mean here. It's this little track, and essentially there's a groove, because you can see this part here is lifted. There's a groove in the window here, which this rides in. And there's also one here on the bottom, which corresponds to this one down here on the bottom of the sill. So when you close it, it's all the way sealed as well. This is actually extremely similar to the old stuff that we had in the house as well, so there's historic precedent for it as well. But yeah, it works pretty well. And you just come up here to it, grab the pull it down. Also, in some of the earlier time lapses, I know you guys saw me pull this guy out. This is actually the outdoor section of the trim for the window, and this thing was caked in paint. And obviously it's white right now, and that's because I've already primed it all, ready to go back outside. There were a lot of wood filling that I had to do on this piece. It was pretty beat up, but let's hop back into the time lapses because I'm gonna go ahead and get this all put back on the window, caulked up, ready to go seal it up. So see you then. We also got Kim over here doing a little bit of painting on the windows. You'll be seeing this time lapse here in just a second as well. I'm going to show you guys how the windows actually function, like how they work, how they're installed, how everything works. A lot of the time I feel like I don't do justice to explain exactly what has to go into these projects. So in this one I want to get just a little bit in depth with you guys and show you a few of the pieces and the parts and what makes the windows more, well, let's say historic or very close to original to the house. So let me walk you through it. So here's my first little example of things I got to show you guys. These are the weights. This is the original weight here. It is marked at 8.5 pounds. Kind of hard to see there, but these weights are 8.5 pounds. The ones I have to replace them are 12 pounds. And you can see these ones are marked, where is it? Right here. See X, 1, 2, 10, 11, 12. So these are the 12 pounders. And the reason I have to change the weights is because the new windows have thicker glass in them and they're a heavier wood. Mahogany is heavier than pine. So that's why you have to use the additional heavy weights. And that is split between the windows weights. So the window is 25 pounds. I know that 12 doesn't exactly equal 20, or 12 and 12 doesn't exactly equal 25, but it's as close as I can get, and it allows the windows to move very smoothly, so I'm happy with the 12-pound weights. The guy that made my windows actually has a bunch of these weights, and that's where I keep going to get the new ones. I return my old ones, that way he can give them to the next person who needs 8.5-pound weights. This is a pulley. Now this is what goes up to the top of the window, and this one's kind of cool. It says patent February 1879 right there. I don't know the manufacturer of these, but I think they're actually really pretty cool. They just go in like this, slot up, and they got one screw to hold them at the top. But these have the chain running through them. I thought somebody said that I had ropes, or don't use ropes, use chains. All the windows are using chains currently, and so these are the old chains I'm just reusing. I did spray paint the front ones, at least for the front sash, black, because you see them a lot. They're not bronze to begin with, they're actually steel. So just to get away from the rust, I put a little bit of Rust-Oleum matte black on here. Stops the rust, makes the chains last longer, life's good. And so you would tie these chains to the weight, run them through the pulley, and then through the other side connect to the window with a screw. So that's how this system all works. So I know also if you guys were interested in the rail systems that I was talking about, are the weather stripping. So essentially this little groove here, these are the old ones by the way, these are the ones that came off the windows, and these are the new ones I'm using. They're exactly the same. This technology hasn't changed in a very long time, and it works really, really well. So essentially there's a groove on all the windows, which I'll show you in a second, that this rides on. And the reason this one has a cutout is because it has to go around the pulleys. So this is for the back sash. And so I already have the top sash in this second window, so let me show you how this all works. So if I slide this down, you can see we've got the chain and the weather stripping. So essentially the air doesn't want to flow around this because you have a stop here, which is the outer stop. You have this guy, and then you have another stop here. And so the air can't really flow around all these different little divots. And there's a little cut, right there that you can see that the rail is riding on. And this bigger cut right here is to go around the pulley, which is up there. So hopefully that helps you guys, you know, figure out what's going on there. And you can see the other hole for the pulleys that go for the front sash or the bottom sash. So that's how that all works. And then on to here, I wanted to show you guys, these are the old sash, the new sash, side by side. And I want to show you guys how closely these are to one another, because essentially they were built on very, very similar machines, because the machines the guy uses Bill over at St. Louis Sash are, you know, well over 100 years old. So these are made almost identically. So as you can see, here's the grooves that those rails, the weather strippings, would ride on, the cutouts for the pulleys. I mean, and you know, even the mortise and tenons, very close to almost identical. I mean, there's very little difference in these windows. One is mahogany, one's pine, you know, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of difference here. I mean, the quality of these, I mean, obviously these have lasted for well over 100 years now. These will last probably even longer. Now the pane of glass here is still a single pane of glass. There's not air seal between them. They're not double glazed. And the reason I didn't do that is because I don't want to continually have to reglaze the windows with new glass every time that seal in between the two break. Now I know a lot of people have been asking also, what do you do about winter or whatever for more thermal security? Are you going to add storm windows, all that stuff? Not adding any storm windows, because it doesn't look good on the building at all. We will add shutters. There are little brackets actually that are on all the windows, little cutouts that you might have seen for the shutters, and I'll show you those in a second. But we're going to actually use internal storm windows on these. So they actually just slot into place in the winter. Basically, it means you can't open or close the window in the winter, but it also doesn't destroy the look of my house. It's something I have to get made. It's something I have to get to work, but you know, there's yeah. That's just how we're going to go about it, because it looks more historically appropriate. You know, storm windows don't. The storm windows that are on here before look like, well, they look like crap. So if I bring the sash back up, you can see here on the side, there's three little old screw holes and a little indent here. And there's one up top as well, and there's two on the other side. These are actually for the original shutters, which I can show you guys again in the old photo. Some of these windows had shutters on them originally, and the bracket would come out to about here, about off the brick, and then the shutter would be able to fold over to the side of the building, off the outside wall. So eventually I'm gonna have to find the hardware for these, and I'm gonna have to get either some shutters made or something that fit these windows so I can put them back as well, and they will be the same dark green that the windows are. And so the next step for me really quickly before I get back to the time lapses is I'm going to go ahead and put these stops in. So this is the center stop. It'll go all the way up to the top and around, and it keeps the window in. It also hides all the metal that you can kind of see a little tiny bit of right there. It hides all of that and cleans up the whole look of the window from the inside and at the outside. But to do that, I've got to get my second set of weights in. You can see the other weight in here already, and that's what's holding up the other sash. These are the little weight pockets. And so I got to get all the weight on and then do that. Little tip for you guys for stringing your weights up through your pulleys. Tie a little piece of metal, like I've been using a little screw, on the end of a little string. Send that screw down through your pulley into your pocket down here, and then tie your chain with your weight on it up, and then pull it all back up through here, through to where your pulley is, which would be right there in that pocket. And then right there in that pocket, as soon as you get the chain all the way up to where you want it, so you can move it freely, poke a screw through that, and so it won't pull all the way back through, and it'll hold. Then you can cut then you can cut your string off, like I have here, and put it together. So, I also know a few of you guys were asking what exactly is wavy glass. This is one of the old panes from the windows, but I want you to look carefully in the reflection here, especially of that water bottle, and you see it move and wave. That reflection. Yeah, that's because the glass isn't flat. When they were manufacturing this, they were trying to get it perfectly flat, but they didn't have the ability to make windows perfectly flat. So as you can see, I move it. It's almost like a funhouse mirror. Now, this was the best technology of the time for getting windows like this, but this glass is actually extremely valuable because there's not a lot of it left. However, you can see it is ultra, ultra thin. You have to be very careful with this stuff because it will break very, very easily. Which is why I had a few broken windows in the house. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys what wavy glass looks like in a better angle. So. So really quickly, guys, a few things that you have to keep in mind if you're doing windows like I'm doing these ones. They're not cut exactly perfect to the size. So these are about 1/8 of an inch off on each side. So that means I have to trim these up on each side to fit in the windows. But you know, good to be delivered a bit bigger than too small. So that's, and how I do that is with my joiner here. You'll see me run these here in a second in a little time lapse. But essentially, I'm just taking a 30-second off of each time I run it through. So that gets me to my final width. So that's how I'm going to be doing that. If you're using one of these, use it with a shop vac, because this has a lot of chips that come out of it. So there's that. Next thing is, they did actually router me a little hole here to put the little brass pulls in. However, they didn't router them to be flush. So I have to go back and put the little router bit in there, or router this little bit in there at that thickness so that these sit flush like the old ones did. So as you guys can see on the original window here, they've got that recessed. And so I have to do the same thing so I can put my little brass pulls in. So yeah, let's do that really quickly. Welcome back, everybody. Almost done for tonight, which is good because it's almost 10 o'clock and I have to edit tonight or else you guys don't get a video tomorrow morning. So we're gonna wrap this up. Not everything's going to be 100% done, but this bottom sash is going in. I've dedicated myself to it. It's happening. So let me show you where we're at. You can see we've got the one weather strip for the outer or the inside sash, bottom sash, whichever way you want to call it or whatever you want to call it. Got the chains here. As I stated before, I just put a screw up in one of the, one of the eyelets or whatever of the chain, and that's holding it up there. So the weight's all the way at the top right now, which gives me the slack I need to be able to screw the windows out without somebody coming over here and holding the chain for me, which is what you guys saw in the last video. Basically, I came up with a solution that required less people because I always work alone, so, or most of the time I work alone, let's say. Kim's here when she can be here, you know. Not putting any shade on Kim. Kim busts it when she's here, but she can't be here all the time, so you learn how to do by yourself. So, as you can see, the other weather strip isn't here at the moment, and that's because I cannot put it on and get the window in. So basically what you do is, so you angle the window on with this, and you slide the other bit of weather stripping on the window, and you rock it into place, and then you slide the window up, then nail the weather stripping in. So hopefully that makes sense. We're about to do that. There will be a few things not done today, which will be painting this piece here, the antique white, the painting of this in the antique white, and the adding the bottom weather stripping. Those are the things I'm not going to do. Oh, and the stool. The stool is the piece that you would think of normally as the windowsill. This outer piece that goes from here to here-ish, this piece, which would go right there. That's called the stool, not the sill. The sill is this piece. So I've got to add the stool here later, tomorrow after I clean it up and everything. So that won't be happening in this video because, like I said, I don't have the time tonight. Yeah, these things are really cool. They're lots and lots and lots of work, but you know, it's a beautiful product. I think it's cool because even though I didn't build the windows myself, I have to do a lot of work to them to make them work. And you know, I get to feel like I'm part of this process, like I do all the processes, which is, you know, it makes me feel good, accomplished at the end of the day, which is what I like, what I strive for. So yeah, and this one's still got all the trim on it, which makes it look pretty cool. I can just see it all happening and looking amazing now. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, we've done it. I got the window in. It's amazing. Let me show you. Real quickly before that though, yes, I realize I'm wearing all red. I just realized I'm wearing all red. Happens. Somebody, by the way, said that my pants made me look like a restoration ninja. I really, really like that. I'm gonna start using that. So thank you for whoever said that. Let me show you the window. So there you guys are. There it is. And it's so cool too because with all the trim work still on there, this top bit has to come off because it's actually drywall behind it, but the rest of it can stay there. It doesn't have to move at all. So this might be one of the first windows I actually do like shellacking, waxing, polishing. But look how much just that little bit of brass there just pops. It's so nice. And now you can see, avoid my work table of mess, but you can see the two windows in together. And man, is it cool. Like I can just picture the whole house looking like that. With these really nice, bright, shiny. Oh, it's so nice. And then, yeah, you get to the ceiling and it's like, ugh. We'll get there soon though, guys. I promise. I promise we will be attempting that very shortly. So why don't I show you guys here how they work as far as opening goes. Get down to this little bit of brass, which is nice. This is actually just held on with a piece of tape right now, but I got so close with my cut that it actually stays by itself. So a bit loud, but you can do it one-handed fairly easily. It's got a little bit of resistance, but a little bit of wax on the wood and the rails themselves will help that slide just a little bit easier. But man, we are getting close. I mean, you can see just the massive difference between the two. And that'll be the next one on the chopping block. And this room is secure again. No water in here anymore. The roof isn't leaking. The windows don't let anything in. I mean, to put it in context, guys, this sash right here, the top sash, let me show you the sash that it replaced. So this is the sash it replaced. As you can see, there's no glass in here. One of these windows was missing completely. The other one is the one that it literally almost fell on the ground. I had to pull it out really carefully. But that's the one I was showing you about, the wavy glass. And this was the meeting rail of the sash. You can see the rest of the lock on there. This thing was shot. So, you know, once you go from something like that to something like this, I mean, there's no comparison. It's beautiful. This is ready to last another 100, 150 years, no problem. You know, and as long as I'm alive, I will take amazing care of these things. I'll be on the ladder, out on harnesses and ropes until I'm 90 if it's possible. So guys, that's the end of the episode. Next week's episode will be a wee bit different than just windows, I promise that. I actually have to get some demo done because I've talked to a plumber who's gonna come and redo the entire house, all the stacks, all that other fun stuff. He won't be coming next week, but I gotta prepare for him. So I've gotta open some holes in some walls, drop a ceiling or two here and there, but things that I knew had to come down anyways. So yeah, that should be somewhat exciting, very dusty, and we're still gonna try to get a window done while getting all the demo done. So I'm hoping to do both. I'm getting a little bit better at this whole window thing. It should start going faster. I'm hoping to start doing 3 and 4 windows at a time. Of course, right now I only have 7 made. So after these 7 are in, that means I have to get the next set going. And he's done such a fine job. Bill over at St. Louis Sash has done such a fine job with these windows that I actually think I'm gonna have him build a few of the doors, the exterior doors that are a bit worse for wear, broken, shattered, holes, weird locks in them. Just, you know, years of different keys and stuff like that put in them, or different lock sets put in them. So I'll probably have him do that. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm exhausted. Let me let you all go. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And we'll see you guys again next Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.